How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be recapping UFC Vegas 99, Hernandez vs. Pereira on October 19th, 2024. The event literally just wrapped up. I'm recording this at 10:20 p.m. October streak is over. 307. I went 9-3. Vegas 98. I went 11-1. Dude almost swept the card. I went 6-5 tonight. 6-5. And get this, I went 1-4 on the main card. Let's get right into it with one of my missed picks. Anthony Hernandez versus Michel Pereira. Oh, man. Michel had about 2 minutes of gas in this fight. And it's honestly, listen, I will admit, I was super impressed with Anthony Hernandez's performance. And, I did understand that he is a very good fighter. I did realize that going into this. I do understand that cardio is a main weapon of his. And I knew going into this that if this fight goes into deep waters, that Michel was going to struggle heavily and immensely. Because whenever people fight Anthony Hernandez, they just kind of melt and wilt under the pressure of him. I mean, we saw Roman Kopylov. Roman had better cardio, though, at least. So, for 4 minutes of that first round, Roman was actually kind of teeing up on him. But then at the end of the first round, he got taken down once, and Anthony Hernandez started to get on him. And then at the round 2, it just kind of piled. It's like a snowball effect whenever you fight Anthony Hernandez, just like the damage from the previous round. Not even damage, just the fatigue of just having a guy walk forward at you almost the entire time and go for takedowns. It's kind of crazy. Anthony Hernandez's cardio is, I will say it, I think his cardio is probably better than Dricus's at middleweight. I will say that. It is probably one of the best at the higher weight classes, rather. Like in the top 3, his is probably up there in of the top 3 weight classes, 185, 205, 265, he's probably got a top 3 gas tank. Maybe top 2. Maybe top 1, if I'm being honest. His cardio is fucking nuts for the heavier divisions. And he's ground and pound is brutal. His pressure is brutal. I'm not going to make excuses for my Michel Pereira pick. I think I went with, if you were to pick Michel Pereira, you thought he would finish Anthony Hernandez early. We almost saw that. He hurt him. But I'm just going to say this. Michel Pereira had one explosion. One explosion in this fight where he threw maybe 10 punches. And then after that, he legit gassed out for the rest of the fight. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he came into this fight injured. I've never fucking seen that from Michel Pereira. I've never fucking seen that in his entire fucking career. And it's honestly disgusting. Dude, it was full. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, these scorecards. 40-35, 39-34, 40-35. Yikes. But I've never seen Michel Pereira look like that before. I don't know how he has worse cardio at middleweight. I don't know if it was because of Anthony Hernandez's pressure, but legit 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the first round, Michel Pereira was huffing and fucking puffing. I don't know what is going on with him, but he lost so much aura just now that honestly, all of his aura just transferred over to Anthony Hernandez. All of his aura just transferred to Anthony. It was an aura transfer. Anthony Hernandez, I mean, I don't know how you don't give him a top 7 guy after that. I understand he's only 13, but dude, he had, on one of the judges' scorecards, he had 3 10-8 rounds. Do you know how fucking nuts that is? That is fucking crazy. That is nuts. And he almost got finished in the first 30 seconds. After that, just smooth sailing, dude. I honestly think you could do Anthony Hernandez versus a Jared Cannonier, maybe. Or maybe a Brendan Allen, honestly. Because honestly, after rewatching Brendan Allen as Evolve, he does not deserve a Marvin Vettori matchup. Fuck that. He looked like ass. And I think that the same thing that happened in Anthony Hernandez's and Brendan Allen's first fight, if you guys don't know, they fought in the LFA. Anthony Hernandez washed him. I think the same thing happens. Brendan Allen's gas tank in his last fight legit looked like dog food. I think Anthony Hernandez would maul him in that fight. Anthony Hernandez is good. Very good. Probably one of the best prospects we've seen in a while. And his debut in the UFC was getting fucking knee to the body from Kevin Holland. That was his debut, right? Was the Holland fight? No, his first fight was getting submitted by fucking... His first fight in the UFC was getting subbed by Marcus Perez. And then it was the Jungyeon Park, and then Kevin Holland. Okay. Yeah. Great performance by him. I have nothing to say about Michel Pereira. I'm very, very shocked. I'm not disappointed, though. Like, I kind of knew that Michel Pereira would gas out if it did go, like, if I didn't think it was going to go to the 5th round, for Christ's sake. I thought Michel, if it got to the 3rd or 4th, I thought if it got to the 3rd, I thought Anthony would sub him. But no, Michel took a lot of damage. He'll probably be back mid-next year. Anthony Hernandez, dude, get him on that Sydney. Honestly, fucking get him on a pay-per-view main card, please. Get him on one of those. Great guy. We move to the co-main event. Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. I don't know what it was about dudes on the main card who just forgot how to fight. Kyler Phillips honestly looked so fucking bad in this fight past round 1. I am genuinely disgusted with him. I heard Dominic Cruz saying Kyler Phillips is going to learn so much from this fight. I heard him say that. Those are words from Dominic Cruz's mouth. This dude's almost been in the UFC since 2019. I'm pretty sure he fought on the Contender Series in 2019. Dude's been fighting since 2020. He's already been ranked before. You know what I mean? Like, he was in the rankings prior to now. I think it was... He beat some dude. I think when he beat Song Yadong is when he entered the rankings for the first time. And then he lost to Julian Paiva and then got kicked out. Genuinely one of the most, disgusting displays of ranked fight style. I mean, everything Kyler Phillips does well, he looked like complete and utter shit in this fight. And again, Kyler Phillips, one of the most improved things in the Pedro Munoz fight was his gas tank. Dude was throwing spinning kicks in round 2 and 3, throwing flying knees. He couldn't even throw a fucking jab in round 3. He couldn't do anything. His cardio looked like fucking dog shit. I am disgusted with Kyler Phillips. I am so fucking pissed right now, dude. I can't fucking believe it. Great win by Rob Font. And I'll admit, Rob Font in round 2 and 3, round 1, he kind of got controlled for the entire round, but that's besides the point. Round 2 and 3, dude, he was pressing the pace against Kyler Phillips. He couldn't. I just started beatboxing. Kyler couldn't do anything. He just kept walking him forward and boxing him up. I am... Oh, dude. I am so mad with Kyler Phillips, right? I called this dude one of the most dynamic strikers in the division in my Fix and Breakdown video, because he is! He is one of the most dynamic. He looked like shit on the feet, dude. He looks so bad. I don't understand. I don't know what happened. He had to have come into the fight injured or something, but I can't make that excuse for him because he's just probably this ass. But he can fucking run numbers up on Pedro Munoz and Song Yadong, but fucking good old chinny Rob Font can fucking just walk you down. You're getting walked down by Rob Font, dude. You're on the same level as Adrian Yanez. Get the fuck out of the rankings, dude. You oh, you dickhead. I can't get this worked up for a fight night in the Apex, dude. I gotta save this energy for 308. Oh my god. I am, when I say I'm, the only word is disgusted. I'm beguiled by Kyler Phillips' fucking performance. We move. Charles Johnson versus Sumadarji. Honestly, close fight. I saw some people saying robbery. I have no idea how you think that's a robbery. Sumadarji clearly won the third round. Charles Johnson clearly wins the second. The first is kind of close, but I think you have to give it to Charles Johnson based on control against the cage, and he also landed more strikes. I know he didn't outland him significantly, but he did land more strikes, like total strikes. And he did have some clinch control time. Sumadarji didn't really land anything of note from what I remember in the first round. He started tagging Charles up in the third, though. He started piecing him up a little bit. And Sumadarji was winning the second round for the most part until the knockdown and then subsequent follow-up shots. But, solid fight. Made sense. Charles Johnson beats Sumadarji. Probably gets ranked opposition next. Kind of shocked that he didn't get it for this fight. Good win for him. Happy for him. Sumadarji, after the long layoff from the Tim Elliott fight, how long ago was that? That was December 9th. Yeah, he took almost a year off. And then a subsequent year from the Matt Schnell fight. He looked pretty good against Charles Johnson. So, that's honestly very good for him. That's a very good step for him in his career. His cardio looked good. His ground game actually looked solid. Like, his jiu-jitsu in that second round was fucking wild, how he was able to get reversals and then go for the neck. I was very proud of him. Because Sumadarji, one of his biggest weaknesses going into this fight was his jiu-jitsu, was his ground game. And then honestly looked pretty stellar in this fight. So, good for him. We move to Jake Hadley versus Cameron Smotherman. Now, I said I wasn't going to, lose my mind over another fight on this card. But Jake Hadley. You know what? No. I'm not even going to talk about Jake Hadley. I'm going to talk about Cameron Smotherman for the entirety, because Jake Hadley can go suck a dick. Cameron Smotherman, great win. I'm very happy for you, dude. 4 days notice, you flew from Saudi Arabia, you got knocked out in the Contender Series, which was a very, very low point. I remember you talking about how it almost made him retire from the sport. He comes in short notice against Jake Hadley, coming off probably his biggest win in the UFC over Kalen Loughran in enemy territory. Not enemy territory, because that was in England, but, Kalen Loughran was coming off that very, very precise Angel Pacheco performance, and he 30-27 Kalen Loughran, from what I remember. Cameron Smotherman completely outclassed Jake Hadley in this fight. Completely outclassed him in this fight on the feet. Very slick boxing. Jake Hadley looked like shit. And it's not even because he is shit. Cameron Smotherman made him look like shit because Cameron Smotherman actually looked good. And that is very good for him. I am looking forward to seeing him go forward. I'm looking forward... Fucking Christ, I can't even speak. I'm looking forward to Cameron Smotherman's future fights. They'll probably get him in another Apex card for some reason, even though he does have an entertaining type style. He's very boxing heavy, very crisp boxing. Looked very good. There were some moments where Jake Hadley seemingly stumbled Cameron Smotherman a little bit. I don't really think it really hurt him that bad. I think Cameron Smotherman kind of just has weak legs, if I'm being honest, when it comes to taking shots. I think his head's fine. I think his legs always kind of go a little floopy-doopy. But Cameron Smotherman, great win. Happy for you, dude. Can't wait to see you move forward. Jake Hadley, can't say that on YouTube. We move to the start of the main card. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. Very fun fight. Probably one of the best fights of the month. Probably. This fight was nuts. The third round was a little slower, but rounds 1 and 2 were fucking nuts. And Daniel Pineda was bleeding. He was bleeding everywhere, just coating the fucking cage in his blood. Just fucking coating every square inch of it. Darren Elkins, on the feet, of course, looked like poop, but on the ground is where he shorted up. Daniel Pineda kept shooting for guillotines. He also retired at the end of the fight. Thank you for all the fun fights, Daniel Pineda, even though you're a steroid cheat. Still seemed like a pretty cool guy. Darren Elkins kind of just out-cardioed him a little bit. Even though they were both literally gasping for air in the third round, you could tell Darren was just a little bit fresher and was able to get to the ground positions and kind of just hold down Daniel Pineda. Daniel Pineda on the feet, you could tell that he was doing all right. Darren Elkins, I said he looked poop on the feet, but he actually had some moments where he looked like stunned Daniel Pineda. Like, he had like was it a spinning elbow or a spinning back fist or something, and then he had a crisp right hand down the pipe. But Daniel Pineda, they both landed a lot of shit on the ground. Both were bleeding out of their assholes. Good win for Darren Elkins. He'll probably lose to some young prospect, whatever young prospect they give him at featherweight. I don't know who you even give him. Daniel Pineda retired, so sad to see him go. But Darren Elkins winning a fight in 2024. Awesome. Awesome possum. We move to the prelims. The featured prelim, in fact. Mateus Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. Nice. I just fucking dragged a photo of Mateus Nicolau. Basically, the first round, almost nothing happened. I think Mateus Nicolau landed like 2 strikes. So Asu Almabayev just slightly outstruck him, wins this first round. Round 2, a bit more close, but Mateus Nicolau has a in-guillotine attempt and landed some hard strikes. Seemingly stunned Asu. Asu didn't really land all that much significant stuff. It's 1-1 going into the third round. Round 3, Asu drops Mateus Nicolau with a forearm to the top of the head and then holds him down for the rest of the round, essentially. I think Mateus gets up at the end of the round. Nothing really happens after that. Mateus Nicolau literally lost to a forearm to the head. Asu Almabayev breaks into the top 10. Wasn't the type of performance I was hoping for him. I mean, he did beat Mateus Nicolau, which is very good. That is I wanted him to win, and I expected him to win. I thought he'd win in a bit more of a dominant fashion. You know what I mean? I know Mateus Nicolau is always tricky to fight because he is so patient. He fights on the outside. His boxing is kind of hard to get on the inside. His takedown defense is very good. So it's kind of like a nightmare matchup, essentially, for Asu Almabayev, but he actually worked through it. So good for him. Asu Almabayev is one of my favorite prospects, as you guys know. He's in the top 10 now, so good for him. Good for the boy, Asu. They'll probably give him... honestly, you could do like him versus Tatsuro Taira, maybe. Or him versus Alex Perez, depending on when Alex is good to go. Or maybe him versus Steve Erceg. Maybe. Who knows? We move to Brad Katona versus John Matsumoto. Great fight. Another great fight on this card. What a great fight this was. Round 1. Which round did I give? Because I think I forget which round Brad Katona wins. I think is it the first? I think it is the first. Because I think I gave the second and third to John Matsumoto. On damage. Yeah, because the first round, Brad Katona hit him quite a bit. I think he actually stumbled him at one point. Or was that the second round? I forget. But he clearly outstruck John Matsumoto in the first round. Rounds 2 and 3, these dudes were exchanging in the pocket for most of the fight and landing big bombs on each other. Both of these guys were eating each other's best shots. But John, as the fight went on, we see this a lot with Brad Katona. His arms just continuously get lower and lower and lower in pocket exchanges and whenever he's throwing combinations as the fight goes on. So he kind of just gets clipped a lot more than he does at the beginning of fights, and that's kind of how John Matsumoto won. He kind of just started hitting Brad Katona too much with too much damaging shots. He cut him open a couple of times, and Brad Katona was just kind of bloody throughout the fight, and John Matsumoto won. John Matsumoto, one of the boys on this channel. We fuck with John Matsumoto. You know, he's only 24 years old. Great win. Honestly, very good performance against Brad Katona. In your second fight in the UFC, you have now you finished Dan Argueta, and you went to war with Brad Katona and beat him in a decision, which is very good. You brought a good fight out of Brad Katona. You know how fucking hard that is nowadays? Brad Katona, that's kind of mean. You know how hard it is to get a good fight out of this fucking Canadian dude? You know, you know how hard that is? But he did, and it was a very fun fight until Brad Katona started sniffing his balls at the end of the third round. But or at the beginning rather. But I understand it because John was kind of landing a lot. Very good win, very good fight as well. We move to the other finish on the card. One of two. Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamiris Vidal. We had two finishes on this card, ladies and gentlemen, and one of them was Jocelyn Edwards, who came in 3 pounds overweight. Awesome. But yeah, she basically just mopped the floor with Tamiris Vidal. Like, no shit, this was honestly a very good performance from her. She kind of beat the shit out of Tamiris. Like I said, Tamiris Vidal has a leg kick and an overhand right. It's about it. And I did say that Jocelyn was going to use her grappling. She did. Look at the brains on Brad. Look at this guy. And she also did beat her in the striking, too. Her teeps to the body were working like a charm. Her jab was working very well. Her leg kicks, in fact. I always forget how big the fucking legs of Jocelyn Edwards are. Jesus Christ, lady. Goddamn. You'd fucking break 3 watermelon with with the legs on fucking Jocelyn Edwards. They're insanely huge. Like, if you compare hers to Tamiris Vidal looks like a fucking, I don't even know, malnourished lady. Jocelyn Edwards just kind of muscled her around a little bit. Her takedowns were very good as well. Jocelyn Edwards, very improved in this fight. Looked very good. I'm happy for Jocelyn Edwards, one of the ladies on the channel. We fuck with Jocelyn Edwards, even when she misses weight. Very good win. She got the sub, which was like a neck crank. It was never under the chin, but Tamiris Vidal was kind of like, I give up. Because you're the tit quit girl. We move. Jessica Penne versus Elise Reed. Kind of just Elise Reed outboxing Jessica Penne throughout the whole fight. Literally the entire fight. I think Jessica Penne might have won the first round because a lot of what Elise Reed landed was clinch strikes. Like little taps to the body, because she'll always do that where she's like, get off of me. I'm punching you in the stomach. This is damage. This is damage. I'm doing damage. And then round 2 and 3, she kind of boxed the head off of Jessica Penne because she's 41 years old. Elise Reed, rounds 2 and 3 especially, really showed out. Good performance from her. Good win, Jessica Penne. You're 41. Probably retire. You know, couldn't really get it to the ground. Like I said, it's kind of hard to get Elise Reed down and control her at least. She did get her down in the first round, but then after that, she legit couldn't do anything. She also gassed out, which didn't help. But Jessica Penne did have some moments where she did crack Elise Reed with a jab. I think the speed of Elise Reed really fucked with Jessica Penne in this fight. Because Jessica Penne, and also the awkwardness of Elise's stance, because she's got that kind of like taekwondo where her hands are really low and she jabs like up. She doesn't throw a jab straight. It's almost like an uppercut, almost. And you could tell it was fucking up Jessica Penne. She ended up getting hurt a couple of times, but, you know, it's alright. She did alright. I thought she would have gotten beat up worse, if I'm being honest, but, you know, good one for Elise Reed. We move to Melissa Martinez versus Alice Ardeleon. Now this, I'm going to talk about. First of all, 30-27 for Melissa Martinez is stupid. The first round is pretty clearly Alice Ardeleon. Round 2 and 3, round 2 is very close. Round 3, it should have been fucking stopped because Melissa Martinez landed a teep to the liver of Alice and she faked a groin shot. She was like, no, she kicked me in my OnlyFans pussy. She kicked me in my OnlyFans pussy. You look at the replay, it's not even anywhere near her puss. It's like in her fucking stomach. And she was like, oh. And then Melissa Martinez bobbleheaded her a couple of times, and Keith Peterson, no nonsense, by the way, was like, fuck, I pay her subscription. He let the fight continue. I don't understand. In moments like that, and I get some people are like, well, you don't know if Melissa would have finished her. She was done, alright? If you look at that, you're telling me Alice is gonna fucking fight back? She legit grabbed her puss and was like, oh! And fell to the ground. She was done. She was done, alright? She was fucking cooked. She wasn't fighting back. She was cooked. But honestly, I thought that Alice Ardelian had a strong argument for round 2. I have no idea how they gave it 30-27. Honestly, I know she was clipping, but Alice, like, severely outstruck her in the first round. I mean, 27-18, and those are significant strikes. I get Melissa Martinez looks like she landed some hard shots, especially in round 2, which was a round that I thought could go to Melissa because she was snapping the head back of Alice whenever she was crashing in, because that's all she does. Because, she sucks. But, at least she won. At least she won. Not in the fashion that I think she probably should have. She should have got a fucking finish. But she won. The right fighter won. Alright. We move. Oh, fucking hell. Austin Lane versus Robelis Despain. The start of the card. Austin Lane won. Vegas 99 was alright. I'm honestly kind of disappointed with it. I think I gave it, a 6 out of 10, a 5 out of 10? The shit was probably like a 2 out of 10. No. I'll give it a 3. This card was saved by fucking Brad Katona, John Matsumoto, Darren Elkins, Daniel Pineda, and Anthony Hernandez, Michelle Pereira was cool because of how brutal the beating that Anthony Hernandez put on Michelle Pereira was. Every other fight on this card was, Jocelyn Edwards to Mirsvidal was pretty decent, and same with Melissa Martinez, Alice Ardelian. Every other fight on this, and Jessica Penne. Dude, 3 female fights, the fights that I was dreading on this card were honestly some of the highlights. This card was shit. Kyler Phillips is shit. Kyler Phillips, you fucking suck. You fucking suck at fighting. This week we got UFC 308, one of the best pay-per-views of the year. I'm very excited for it. I'll try and get some videos out for you guys. See you guys in my next video. Peace.